Hello, hello. Welcome in, everybody. We are so excited to have you guys join us today. Today, we're going to be talking about troubleshooting your donors' most common giving issues. We're going to talk a little bit more about stuff that's not necessarily specific to giving, so you're actually going to get even more information than you may have come prepared to receive. But yeah, we're so excited to have you guys join us today. As per usual, if you've joined the webinars before, you kind of know the drill. So go ahead and say hi in the chat. Maybe let us know where you're tuning in from. I was just telling Tori right before we went live that usually I wouldn't wear a short sleeve shirt to a webinar, but it is so hot where I live. I'm in Tucson, Arizona, so we're cooking right now, and it felt only appropriate that I would not like profusely sweat the entirety of this webinar. So, oh, cool, we've got someone from Australia. That's cool. Stephanie, where are you at in Australia? I'm going to Australia this Christmas, actually. Very excited to be back there. I did get a horrible sunburn the last time I was in Australia. Like there's, if you guys don't know, there's a hole over the ozone layer in Australia. I got so burnt, and I'm not exactly the most tan of people, so it was a rough Christmas last couple years ago. But where are you guys from, Brittany and Tori? Why don't you share where you guys are tuning in from?
I am in Indiana. Sorry, Brittany. I am in Columbus, Indiana. So
Nice.
right next to Bloomington, home of the national football champs. But
Nice.
Yeah. And I'm from California. I see someone from Davis. But I'm in Southern California, so you're probably like 8 hours away from me. But hey, California is a Californian, so.
That's true. I can't remember who I was talking to recently, but I was like, it always blows my mind. I haven't visited many of the New England states, but when someone's like, "Oh, well, for lunch I hopped over to a different state," having lived in California before, I'm like, how you can be so far away in California, like a day away, and not even exit California, like the state, which is crazy to me. People are just hopping around other states on the other side of the U.S., which is pretty cool.
Literally. It's funny because California, it's like you can cross California in 6 hours, but you can't go up it in
Yeah.
like 18, which is what? To make that make sense,
Yeah,
which is so
wild,
funny.
wild. Well, cool. Okay, so I feel like this is probably a good place to start. A good amount of you have joined live. So I just also want to jump out in front of it and address for the questions that we get most often is yes, this is being recorded. After this, if you've registered for this webinar, the link will be sent to you via email probably tomorrow. But it also gets posted to our university and it gets posted to YouTube. So if this is a video that you want to end up rewatching or showing to your team, you're more than welcome to do that. This will all be recorded for you. So I'll go ahead and jump in just to reiterate. If you're just joining us now, we're going to be going through today how to troubleshoot your donors' most common giving issues. This says giving, but again, we might get into some more details that are not that are beyond giving. So we're excited. We're hoping that this is going to be super helpful for you guys, so that when your donors come to you, you're not overwhelmed with how to assist them. Of course, with Tithely, our mission is to simply serve you guys, and that just means that there's no extra steps, no unanswered questions, and no hidden costs. And so, of course, the unanswered questions kind of plays into our goal with these webinars, is that the hope that you guys get all the information you need to fully self-serve when you're, running your organization or your church. So with that, if you have any specific questions that come up along this webinar, feel free to go ahead and drop them in the Q&A channel. That's going to be the little tab. I think it's on the bottom of your guys' screen, and it has a little question mark in it. Drop your questions in that Q&A channel. We'll have a space at the end of this webinar to address those, just so that we can give Tori and Brittany time to get through all their content, and then we'll circle back to address those questions that you guys may have. But I know we've kind of already been talking a little bit. You may already recognize some of us, but I'll go ahead and introduce myself if we haven't met before. My name is Mariah, and I'm a part of the education team here at Tithely. I have been at Tithely for 3.5 years, and I started actually in our support team and kind of worked through basically like every other team in Tithely, but have really enjoyed being a part of the education team, creating all of the training content for you guys. So all of the help articles that you see, the Tithely University videos, that's what our team does. And so, yeah, just super excited to be here with you guys. Like I said, I live in Tucson, Arizona, so we're cooking. Please pray for us that I don't melt through this summer. But yeah, that's a little bit about me. So I'll give the other girls an opportunity to introduce you guys yourselves.
So I am Tori, and I have worked for Tithely 2.5 years, almost half. And I have probably been on a lot of tickets with quite a few of you if you've reached out for any giving questions. Breeze, starting in Elvanto, so seeing some of you guys there too. I mentioned that I'm from Columbus, Indiana, right next to Bloomington, south of Indianapolis, kind of southern Indiana. I have worked with church administration for, it feels like a very, very long time. So whenever you guys call in or ask these questions, I am not only speaking from my experience with Tithely, but in all aspects of my life. So we really do get, whenever you're, asking the questions about how do we help our donors with this? How do we set this for our event? Kind of in the trenches with you as well. So, and my husband and I have been working with children's ministry for about 10 years, and we have 2 little girls. So one is getting ready to come into kids' church. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah. Super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my name is Brittany, and I have been at Tithely for a year and 4 months, I believe, something like that. You know how I can't really count the months, so I'll go in every, what is it called, by year. So let's just say 1 year.
Yeah.
And yeah, I started in giving, and now I'm starting to do Breeze a little bit, and Breeze is awesome. It's fun. So anybody that is a Breeze user, hopefully Tori can help you. But yeah, I'm just from Southern California, right by Huntington Seal Beach area. So if you're local to that, go Southern California. Beautiful sunny day. We have been struggling with humidity, and I hate it. Let's just say that. Those of you in the South that deal with this daily,
how do you do
it? How do you do it? I'm glad I'm in Southern California because I'm suffering. So, oh man, it's great. Yeah, and I've loved being on the team, and I'm sure that one of you guys has been familiar because I'm the only Brittany in this company. So if you got something, which is really crazy. Yeah. And Cries and Texan. Yeah, Texas, you guys.
Yeah, we're
I know you
for you, Ashley.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, but you guys have Buc-ee's, so that's something that I'm jealous of. I love those caramel popcorn nugget things that you guys have. Oh, those are a dream.
We literally just had, this is a tangent, but we just had in Phoenix, I live like an hour and a half away from Phoenix. We just had a Buc-ee's open up in Phoenix, and I'm strongly considering making the drive to go to Buc-ee's. I'm sure everyone who has a Buc-ee's readily available is probably like, girl, that's crazy. But I don't know. From someone who doesn't have one close, I think.
Oh man.
My husband plans our trips on which Buc-ee's we can hit when we drive.
Yes. Yeah. I think it's worth it.
Well, I think it's so funny how everybody just bonds over Buc-ee's. So
yeah, it's a connecting thing. It's a very special gas station. Well, okay, cool. Yeah, sorry to give you guys all that context. I just felt like it was important to get to know us a little bit, but we'll go ahead and jump right into things. I'll go ahead and give the space to Tori, and Brittany and I will still be here. So like I said, if you have questions, drop them in the Q&A channel, but feel free to chat just in the regular chat space. We'll be in there kind of monitoring that. So with that, I will go ahead and pass it off to Tori.
Awesome. Thanks, Mariah. So with Breeze, I'm sure a lot of you have figured out that you can approach things from a lot of different directions. So I like to give our most common, most used ideas on how to do things. And so if I show you one way, there's likely another way as well. So, and we will share the links and everything. So if you leave this recording or need more help later, like Mariah mentioned earlier, the links will be there. It'll be in the recording. And then if you want to reach out to us, you can reach out to us in our chat. And we're always here to help. So I think we're going to go ahead and jump into our demo account. And just for the sake of this, it's all fictitious data and everything like that. So we're not showing anybody's personal account. You'll probably figure out some of the names and stuff as well. So as an admin, you probably experience this so often where you have a donor that creates a recurring gift or gives a donation, and then they get to the point where they're like, you know what, I can't handle it. Can you help me with this? Or they'll reach out to us and say, please cancel it. I'm not tech savvy. Or even if they are, or there's extenuating circumstances, for some reason, an admin might need to edit a recurring gift, change a payment method, cancel it, or say they can't find it. Sometimes they want to cancel it, but then they say they can't find it. So I'm going to jump in. As an admin, you can go into your giving area. So right here at the top, oh yeah, you can see it too. Okay. So online giving on the left-hand side, because if it's recurring, that means that you, oh man. Okay. Can you see that off the side too? No. Okay, good. Online giving. I clicked something off this side. I told Mariah here, I have a knack for clicking on a lot of extra stuff. So giving, online giving, and then down through here, you have your payments, transfers, or bank deposits, and recurring. So because it's kind of hidden down here, we don't always see that. But recurring, so let's say Leslie is wanting to delete her recurring gift. So backtrack a second. This payments area is your list of transactions that have occurred, have come in. But this list over here in recurring is your list of people that have an active recurring gift. So if your donor reaches out and says, hey, I can't find my recurring gift, I need to cancel it. Where is it? If it's not here, it has been canceled. Because you'll probably, we've gotten that quite a few times where an admin will reach out and say, hey, they said they had one, but I don't see it. Sometimes they cancel it successfully before realizing it, maybe in a donation receipt and such. But anyways, you're going to go into the dollar amount. You can kind of see it hyperlinks here. And from here, you have so many options. You can change a payment method by just clicking on change. Then you can go into the schedule. You can even change like the date. That's, say they have a payment that needs to delay or something. You can change the date even, and then that will reset. You can even change it to every 2 weeks. It's just nice because then they don't have to recreate it. And then sometimes they'll select a fund and they want to change the fund. You can do that. If they forget to cover the fees and you need to add that for them, you can do that. If you need to cancel it altogether, it's just down here at the bottom. One common thing as well that you might get from a donor is that they're saying, I created the recurring gift. It is coming out. I see it. How come I can't see it in my own profile? Like if you give them access to this. If you go into the associations tab, if you have not associated these profiles, these gifts to their profile, it's not going to show in their giving history, and that might not show in their recurring gift. So if you have this little red bubble over here in associations, make sure you do that occasionally, because it's pretty important that they are able to see that as well, because some people do like to have that record and view their own transactions. So processing refunds. So let's go back to the payments area. So we're still in giving, online giving, and then payments. If you need to refund a donation, so this is a fictitious one I did earlier. So if you click on this amount again, you can edit in the batch, refund, but you can make edits too, because a lot of times you get, hey, I gave to the children's ministry fund, but I needed to give to the general fund. You can edit these as well. So you can refund directly right here. It's so convenient. And when you do a refund, you can even do a partial amount and go from there. So when you hit cancel, you got to keep going back in. So edit in batch. And then this is the one right here. So you can kind of see further details. It can keep going deeper and deeper. And then you can kind of see in her giving as well. So if you, for some reason, have a donor that's really struggling, you can go directly to the admin as well. Or I'm sorry, the donor, and then look at their giving and make sure that it's associated as well. So We've kind of gone through recurring donations, refunds, adjusting funds, tax statements, and financial reports. I'm sure a lot of you have done those, but there's sometimes whenever you want to do your tax statements for the whole organization, but then you might have a specific donor that needs a recent printout or they can't figure out how to get out to their donation. So this is where, for if you're wanting to do all your organization, you have your tax statements. And we have a lot of good information about the tax statements, but I want to show in particular, you can go in here for print or email, but whenever it says select specific people, say you wanted to do like a certain tag of people, you can work through the people area. Like if you click specific people, it's going to say use the contribution reports page, or even just going directly to their profile. So let's use Leslie again as an option. So Leslie right here, if we go into her area, you can see her specific giving, and you can even download it as an Excel document. Or say you have, maybe you want like a year and a half's worth of transactions. You can start the date and end the date at different times and include specific information that you want, and then you can download that. So those are some of the most common as far as like giving goes. But I want to also share, some churches like to give their members access to viewing this themselves, or maybe updating. I'm seeing it's frozen. Is it me? It says something about frozen. Can you hear me, Mariah? Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
We can still hear you. You're good. Sorry. I came off mute and realized you couldn't hear me. You're good.
I just saw frozen a few times, so I just wanted to make sure I wasn't me. But so, and just a reminder too, it's a lot of, you can hear, but the screen is frozen. Can you still see mine too?
Maybe.
How about now?
Right now it looks like it's moving correctly for me, but let me read the chat for you.
Okay, Megan,
okay, now it's moving.
Yeah, okay. So it looks like I was in a different tab than what was showing. So, all right, circling back. What point did we lose you? So, giving, online giving. Oh gosh. Told you, Mariah. The neck. Recurring, but also really, if you get anywhere, you can circle back to these other places. But recurring and your associations are right here. I'm gonna, just because for the sake of recording.
Tori, just to help pick up, it looks like someone did say it froze at the individual tax statement. So if that's where you want to pick back up, I think that's where we got stuck.
Yes, thank you, Ryan, thank you, Lisa. Thank you. So tax statement. So if you have, say you just want a tax statement for Leslie, let's go back. So I'm going to go to people, and I'm going to go specifically to Leslie, and I'm going to go to her giving area. And from here, you can start changing dates, and you can start adding columns as well. And then you can download as Excel. So I love this because, sometimes we don't want to generate for the whole church at one time, but you can generate a specific range. Say it's a year and a half or 2 years, or, however long you need to. And then you can download that as an Excel. But you can also even do this through the giving reports area. And you can do it through reports as well. And then you can start with a certain date range, even down to a specific fund. Say you have a campaign and you want to go through who's given to that fund and everything like that. But in more detail, I was kind of transitioning to, say Leslie wants to be able to manage her own giving or update her own payment method or things like that. You have to make sure that they have access. So if your church wants your congregation to have access, there's a few settings you need to consider. So we're going to go to the gear icon here in the top right corner and then go to users and roles. And from here, you can see that users, so these are people that have admin access to this demo account, but you can see that Leslie is a people profile, but she's not yet a user. So really what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to members, and these are the people that you have in there. You can add users as well directly. Like say you wanted to just go ahead and do it on her behalf. You can add in her information and then connect it to her profile. But a lot of times the easiest is just going straight to the members area on the left-hand side and selecting invite. So it'll send them an email, and then they can go from setting up their own account and put in information. But then there's other options that you can do as well. And so I'm in the gear icon, members, and then we're going to go over here to settings. And in the settings, there is the member role can either do, this is what your invitation email looks like. So if you wanted to add some details or maybe include a link of some sort or a giving link or anything like that, you can do that here. Not the only place where you can do that, but if you want them to be able to have your subdomain or even create an account from your online giving page, this is where you can kind of change those settings. So the login page is where they would type in their username and password, but if they don't have one, but aren't getting the link. Okay, I will, if you could, Jennifer, put that in the Q&A as well, and we can kind of go back over those as well. So at any time, you can change these. So if you want the login page, so say they go to your subdomain and they say, create login, they can create it from there. And then there's also here, you can create a link where you say you have a church bulletin, or maybe you use our sites, our newsletters, or things like that. You can share this link as well. I just want you to be mindful of how you have your information in there, because if you give out this link, anybody could get access to it. So you'd have to safely and securely share that as well. So a lot of people do like to do this by invitation, where you can manage who gets an invite or who doesn't. But you can change that at any time, and you can send out emails. So that's as far as how you can share out the invitation or the access. But once they have access, and you ask the question, what do members have access to? This is where roles come in. So here we have our roles, and member is your standard that we have, at least in this account, but you can edit what they see. People here is seeing the whole people database. If you want them to be able to view their own profile and their own giving, this is where you would edit my profile. So I'm editing for Leslie to see. So Leslie would need to see in my profile. Well, you can give them access to everything, but a lot of times some of your members that just want to do giving don't want all of this information. So I'm going to click cancel so you can kind of see what our standard was, since I clicked that. My profile, viewing details. If you don't want them to be able to edit, say you want them to go through a form, or say, you can take off this edit information, or, it gets as granular as you want it. So you can also add as many roles as you want. So if you have members, or say they belong to a certain group that manages events or something, you can give them access to that, and you can add those roles right there. So I also wanted to mention the subdomain, because this is a question we get so often in support is I'm trying to log in, but I can't find where to go, or my login's not working anymore. Oftentimes the or the donor or the member doesn't know the subdomain. And if we say, hey, what's your church's subdomain? It's kind of like foreign language. So where you see that, and I'm sure a lot of you know what I'm talking about with subdomain, but if you ever are like, well, I think it's this, but let's double check. So the gear setting or the gear icon and go to manage account. Over here, you'll see subdomain. And the full address that people will need to log into your account is like, for example, this one says brit.breezechms.com. Now, if they were to go to breezechms.com, there is a Breeze login. From there, that's where they would need to know like your Brit subdomain. And you can let them know this, but you can also, if you have it to where they can create an account from their giving form, you can share out this giving form as well. So they can get from there. And then finally, this one is a kind of a bigger one. So I don't want to get too deep in the weeds, but email history. So if you have a donor that is, or a donor, a member, or anybody that's not able to get your emails for some reason or another, the first thing that you can do is tell them, if they were receiving the emails and then they're not anymore, to go back to one of their previous emails and they can manage their email preferences. So maybe they've opted out on accident or something like that. They can manage it there themselves, or you can go into your gear icon and then go to history. And then you can look at your email history. And in this case, I was testing with the sending invitation. So here you can kind of go in and you can see, I wanted to see what it looked like if I took back that invite and canceled it. So it's kind of gobbledygook here, but you can go in and look at what you previously sent and if it's sent or not and things, and go from there. We do have a cool article that kind of talks about email deliverability, and we're going to include some of these links so that you have we have links for every single thing that I've shown you today. Mariah is not kidding whenever she says they spend a lot of time putting in links, putting in pictures and videos, which are so great. I know me personally, whenever I was first getting to know Breeze, or even when I started at Tithely, those were lifelines. So, and we always try to include those whenever we talk with you in support. So if you have a donor or an admin, or sorry, not an admin, a member that says they unsubscribed from emails, and you see that on your email histories that they've unsubscribed, a lot of times you guys will reach out to us and say, hey, can you resubscribe this email? Due to the laws and security standards, they have to reach out to us to support and request from that email to be resubscribed. So if you ever get that they unsubscribed and you can see it in the email history, just have them reach out to us and say in our chat and say, hey, can you please resubscribe my email to get emails? And I think that's pretty much what I've got. So Brittany, I think you're up, but I'll look over the chat as well.
All right, Terry, thank you. Appreciate it. Hi, everybody. So I am going to be covering the Tithely side. So Tithely is basically the broader CHMS platform, and it's a suite that handles online giving, your church app, your website, media, messaging, and also some form of people management. And then Breeze is more of that focuses on the administrative side of it. So I'm going to go ahead and you'll see on the slide here the different things that I'm going to be going over. And I'm going to start off with the official tax receipts and tax statements when it comes to your donors. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the test account now. Alrighty, and basically what happens is during tax season, or actually during any time of the year, donors are wanting access to this statement where basically it's explaining how much have you given, or how much they have given to their organization, aka your organization, and basically doing whatever it is that they need with this official tax statement. And it's actually really, really easy to generate this. One thing to note, though, is us at Tithely, the support team, we cannot generate tax statements. We have federal and tax laws that just limit us from releasing that information. So it is under the admin's jurisdiction to release that information to the donors. So I'm going to walk us through really quick on how to generate tax statements. So you're in your Tithely account here. You're going to go to Giving, and you can go ahead and ignore this. This is a test account. You're going to go, and if you don't start here and you log in and you're here, all you need to go to is this side panel and click on Giving, and that'll directly to the same exact spot. Then you're going to navigate over to here where it says tax statements, and it'll take you to where you need to go. So here you'll see the year that you choose or the locations, any of that. This is where you're going to go to get that started. So here you have 2026 and then all the way to 2027. You also can create a custom range. So let's say, for example, you have a donor that says, hey, I'm trying to look for how much I've given in the month of April of 2026. You actually can generate that for them. All you need to do is use the custom range. You go here to your calendar and you choose the month that they need, and it'll generate the specific giving that they have, as long as it's under the all the same email, all the same information, but it will pull all your donors that have given in that month. And you just have to go in and search for whoever it is that is asking for it. So let's say, for example, I generated for the year of 2025. Here you'll see a list of every single person that we have. These are all just test people. So it's no one's, personal information or anything like that. But you'll see here that you have a list of different donors, and let's say Logan Moore is one of your donors. All you need to do is just navigate to his field. You'll see here where you can email it to him or where you can print it. And sometimes people just come and pick it up, or whichever it is that you have here. But um, it'll generate directly the tax statement, and you'll see here, this is how it looks like. It'll also automatically generate the printing option, so you can release that information to them. Again, us at Tithely, we're not able to release this information to your donors. It is your jurisdiction and your responsibility to release that information. Also, moving on to receipts. So donors reach out asking for the receipts, and there's two ways that they can get it. In regards to you as the admins, you don't have a way to specifically generate a official tax receipt. That's actually the second way they can get it, is just reaching out to support and saying, hey, I never got my tax receipt. Can you please release that to us? Us as support here, we're able to do that if they need like the fancy official Tithely receipt. But also, the way that you as a donor can assist is simply just going to the transaction page. So again, going to Giving, then going to Transaction, and then you could search for the name. So for example, as you see Chris Parker, Chris reached out to you and he wants to know if you got the donation from July 17th. And you're like, yeah, I do have it here. You can simply just show that, do a screenshot of this, a simple just telling them, hey, we have this, or you can go back to the tax statement and just release that to them as well. Or you can have them reach out to support, and we can release an individual donation for that. Okay, so moving on to refunds. So in regards to refunds, Tithely also does not have the authorization to initiate refunds. That's actually the responsibility of the admin or whoever has the permission to do refunds. Um, when a donor gave extra, or when a donor forgot to cancel a recurring gift, or when a donor gave twice to a fund, anytime that they say, I want to cancel something, that's actually a refund. And that does have to come on your end. So, what they do is they need to reach out to you and you need to initiate that refund. And the way that you do that is, let's say, for example, let's go back to all you need to do is get their name or their email, and you can search it up there. So, for example, let's say that I have a donor by the name of Connor. Connor wants me to refund his most recent donation. Then you're like, okay, can you verify the date? Can you verify how much it was and what fund you gave, just to make sure that you're actually refunding the correct information? So they say, I want July 23rd, that was $1.12 to be refunded. And you're like, okay, perfect. All you need to do is you need to click on the transaction after you've searched for it. Head over here, you'll see a side panel that pops up on the right-hand side, and you'll see this little button right here that says edit. you're going to actually click on that, and what you'll see is right down here, it'll say cancel recurring charge. The only reason why it doesn't say it here is because it's not an active account. There was actually no money actually given. So that's why it doesn't generate that. But if you test it out on your end, you go to a transaction, you hit this edit button here, you'll have two options here. It'll say either edit gift or cancel transaction. And all you need to do is just hit the cancel transaction and it'll cancel the transaction for you. And for you to confirm that it was refunded, what will happen is you can go back to the actual transaction and head over here to where it says status. And the status will then change from success to refunded. And that's how you'll know you successfully refunded the transaction. The refund usually takes between 2 to 10 business days, maximum 10 business days. It all depends on the bank. So just let your donor know. You should receive it in 10 business days once you hit that submit button. And just verifying, okay, it depends on your bank. And if they don't see it in 10 business days, you can have them reach out to their bank, double check and see if they missed it. And if they check their bank and their bank says, yeah, we don't see anything, and you say you see it says refunded, and you've done everything on your part, you can always reach out to us at support and we can look into what's going on with that. All right. Okay, so in regards to donor profiles, so sometimes donors need to change their emails or they need to change their phone numbers, specifically for, let's just say, for your organization. They say, hey, I just had this change of phone number and I want to make sure that you guys have everything that is up to date. In regards to your account and your organization, you do have to go in and change that yourself. Us at Tithely cannot go into your admin account and specifically change information for donors. So really easy to do that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start again from the dashboard. We're going to head over to people. Once you generate your people page, you're going to go ahead and search for this person. For example, let's say I have Katie reached out to me and she told me that her address changed or her email has changed. You can go, and it's very important that you keep your donors' information updated because that will allow people to get your emails, that will allow your people to get any notifications that you send out for them, because if they don't have accurate information, us at Tidely can't do anything about it because we don't have the most current information that they have, so that we can send them the correct information. So all you need to do is just click on the Katie profile, head over here to her account. What you can do is you'll head here and you can go ahead and change this edit here. It will have an edit page there. That's where you can go ahead and email it. Once you hit this little gear and you hit edit, that's where you can go in and change all the information that you have to update to make sure that they get all the messages and make sure that you are contacting them at their most current uh, contact or information. But for example, if you have a donor that says, hey, I'm trying to change my email for my giving app or for their actual personal Tithely account, they actually have to reach out to us and we have to go through our part to uh, update that for them. We have to ask them security questions. So we have a whole process that they actually have to go through. So if they need to update any information in regards to your account, in regards to them getting messages, emails, you do have to update that on your own. If they need to update anything, for example, in regards to their donor account, in regards to giving or the giving app, they have to reach out to us and we are able to update that information for them. Alrighty. So another thing to go over is changing the funds for gifts. So let's say we have a donor that reaches out and says, hey, I gave to the wrong fund and it was actually supposed to go to this fund. That's actually something that the admins have to do. Us at Tidely cannot do that. So going to giving, or we could start from the dashboard. We head to giving. We're going to look for the transaction that was incorrectly given to the wrong fund. And it's the same process as the refund. So we're going to search. I'm just going to click on this one that's here. We're going to search for the transaction. Once we find it, we click on it. We're going to head over to edit. Then you'll see here the fund field. This is where you can go in and change it. So you can click on the fund and then select the new fund that it has to go to, including if you need to change the date or if you also want to give a memo or a note that you want to leave. For example, if you have a whole administration team that has access to giving and you made a movement, it's really good, administrative practices to just say, fund has been changed, and then your initials or something like that, just so that there's communication across the whole transaction, making sure that people know, okay, this was intentional, this is what happened, and that's the way to change the fund. And you can also change the date as well and add any memos. Alrighty, so moving on to if you have donors that need to change their cards or they need to change their bank accounts when it comes to their donations, it is a process in regards to them logging into their account and going in and deleting the payment method, then deleting the recurring gift if they have a recurring gift, and resetting everything up. So they have to make sure they delete all their information first and then delete their recurring gift, then add the new payment method and add the new recurring gift. Because once they delete it and once they delete their payment method, that's it. The system will not automatically create a new one. It needs to be initiated by the user. Now, you as the admin, what you can help is kind of cut that process in half. What you can do is you can cancel the gift. So that's the same process as going in and refunding the gift. So again, you go in, you go to your transaction page under giving. So you go to giving, transactions, search for search for the donation. Then you're going to go to edit, and this is where you'll see the refund transaction and the cancel transaction. Again, it's not popping up on my end because this isn't a real active test account that's receiving donations. But if you go into your transactions, you click on the edit as I showed, you'll see the two options. One says cancel, and the other one says refund. The canceled one is what you can do. And you can cancel any transaction, but you cannot you cannot cancel bank transactions. So that's also a side note, and I'm sorry that I forgot it to mention that when we were on the fence. But again, you can cancel any type of gift, but you cannot cancel you cannot refund bank transactions. So the only ones that you can refund are debit or credit card transactions, and then you as the admin needs to reach out to support and say, hey, I have so and so with the email and donation of 115 cents that happened on July 14th that needs to be refunded. What we'll do is we'll initiate that for you, and it'll be the same 2 to 10 business days. So just to recap, you can cancel any type of donation, but you cannot refund bank donations. Just to keep that under your belt. Okay. And then, okay, so if you have a donor that's having some issues with the app, for example, if it's just glitching out on them and they can't see anything, or it's just being wonky and it's just not working out, honestly, what you can suggest is having them delete the app and reinstall it. 90% of the time, any glitches or anything that the phone is having some issues with, it gets resolved from them just deleting that app and then reinstalling it. And then a lot of the times, also what happens is that sometimes they say, oh, I can't see my giving history. You have to make sure that they're actually logging into the email that's attached to their donations. So let's say that the donation is under sammyg1@gmail.com, but they're logging in under sammyj@yahoo.com. They're not going to see anything because it's not associated with the correct email that they've been donating with. But if they've gone through everything, everything matches, all of the information that they have is correct. You see everything. You see everything's you've done everything you can, they've done everything they can, and they're still having some issues, you can always have them contact support, and we'll be more than happy to kind of see if there's any bugs that's happening, anything that's preventing them from seeing what they need to see, and then taking that that more in-depth troubleshooting. We'll be happy to help with that. All right. All right, so we're coming kind of towards the end. So the last two things that I'm going to be going over and is second to last is donor any like in regards to any self-service that your donors can do. So your donors can cancel their own gifts by logging in with the correct email. Make sure that the email that's associated with the donation is also the same email that they're logging into. They can cancel their gift. They can update their payment method. They can delete any old payment methods. They can update their emails, they can update their passwords, and they can update their phone numbers. So anytime that you have a donor that reaches out saying, "Hey, I'm trying to update my email," you can go ahead and direct them saying, "Go ahead and log into your account," and you can change it there. And if they have trouble, then they can reach out to support and we can update it for them. And then same thing with the phone numbers, and then canceling their gift. If they want to cancel it, either you can direct them to the app or you can cancel it on your own, whichever is faster, more convenient for the both of you. You do have the capability of doing both. And then updating the payment method as well. You are not actually able to update payment methods. That's actually only their responsibility to do so. All you need to do is have them. Let me show you a little trick that we usually tell when donors reach out to us what we do. So let's say you have the donor saying, "Hey, I'm trying to update my payment method, but it's being weird and I can't log in." A lot of the times, what I'm going to show you, 95% of the time helps your donors get to where they need to get to. So what you can do is you can go to Giving, then you can go to Giving form, which is right down here, and you just make sure that you're at the right location. So for example, I'm at Micah's all access demo. This giving URL is actually directly linked to your giving form, which they can use to log in to get into their donor account. So let's say, for example, you send this to an email or a text and they bring it up. It will bring up your giving form. Give it a second. And right up here, you'll see the login on the top right. This is where your donors will go in, and this is where they can see their giving history, where they can change their payment methods, they can delete their gifts. Basically, all the self-service options I mentioned, this is where they go to be able to do all of that information. All right, lastly, last but not least, in regards to failed or pending payments, um, there is a way for you to check and see like what's the status of a transaction. So if you have a donor saying, "Hey, I gave and I just had the receipt, but it never came out of my account," all you need to do is just go over again to your transaction page, look for the donation, and over here you'll see a status. The different statuses are success, failed, pending, disputed, refunded. I believe, Moira, if you could shoot up that article that kind of explains the different pending statuses, you could take a look and see, okay, what does that mean? What's happening? um, where is it at? Pending, that article would kind of explain exactly what statuses is, but one of the things that I do want to mention is the failed. A lot of the times, failed will tell you why. And once you pull up a failed donation, it will tell you why it failed. If you click on the donation and you scroll down to this bottom area, it will tell you why it failed. A lot of the times, it'll say donor needs to contact bank. One of the many reasons why is because it's either insufficient funds, either Tithely is blocked as a vendor, so it didn't let the donation go in, period, or anything like that. So anytime it says donor contact bank, you could tell your donor, "Hey, contact your bank, see if something stopped it from going through, double check, make sure anything, whatever it is that happens, see if your bank can fix it." A lot of the times it's a hold. A lot of the times banks, specifically, I think American Express is, they do not like us as a vendor. American Express always gives us problems. I think it's also Capital One credit cards. Capital One credit cards also have some issues. So just have your donor reach out to the bank. Your donor will say, "Okay, hey, this is happening." Then the bank will do what they need to do. So and I'm going to be transparent. When donors call in banks and the banks say, sometimes the banks will say, "Oh no, there's no hold. Like, oh, we didn't block it." A lot of the times, what happens is banks did block it, but they just go in and they approve the Tithely as a vendor when the customer calls it in. So a lot of the times when your donor calls it in, says, "Hey, can you check if there's a block? Can you check if there's insufficient funds, or can you see why it was denied by you guys?" They'll go and do their works in the back end. But all your donor needs to do after that phone call is just try again, try the donation again. And if they try again and it still doesn't work, you can always have, or you as the admin can always contact us at support. We can kind of do a dive deep and see, why it's happening, uh, why, and kind of dig a little bit deeper. But something I do want to share to you as admins so that you can keep it in your back pocket is that if you have any donor at any point in time, any history that has been with you, and they dispute a transaction, meaning that they went to their bank and said, "This is fraudulent. This is something I need to be removed," and it's basically got okayed and it processed and it got disputed and they won the case. What's going to happen is that our payment processor is going to block that specific card that was involved in that dispute, and they're going to block it because they want to prevent any more disputes from happening to you as the organization. So what that means is that if you have a donor that has a history of disputing things and they see that their card is not working, they need to use another card because that card has been blocked from our system so that they don't dispute transactions anymore. So they have to use a brand new card. Okay, so that's it for me. And sorry if I kind of took long, but that's it, Moira.
Perfect. Thank you so much. That was so
Thanks,
much
Mariah.
helpful information.
Yeah.
Well, cool. We have a couple minutes left, so I want to jump straight in and try and address as many questions as we can from the Q&A channel. So Brittany and Tori, I know you both can see the Q&A channel, so if you want to scroll through and also find questions that you want to address, then feel free to do that. I don't want to throw a question on you that maybe is better suited for someone else. Let's see. Well, Tori, why don't if you because I know you replied to a couple questions, do you
Mhm.
mind just restating what you applied just so that those who are listening can hear those replies?
Yes. So Ramona asked that she had a donor and wanted to include the fees in the giving. How do I do that? And this actually brought up a really good point. So I mentioned whenever you go into giving and you are you able to? I'm gonna. Can I
Yeah,
share?
yeah, yeah. I'll put your screen up. We
Okay.
can all see your demo now.
Okay, so giving and then online giving. So I did a lot of demo for online giving, but if you need to edit or delete a cash or check donation, you can also do that as well. Because there can be some times where they said, "Oh, I donated this much, but I actually need to do this much." You can go in and delete that as well. And I did put that link in that comment, I think. But if you need to add fees back, once the transaction has already processed, you can't go back and add fees to that specific one. But it can be added to the recurring gift for future processes, or I'm sorry, transactions that process. So if it's important to them that that previous transaction that they already gave has the fees, then that might be a situation where you kind of have to weigh out, do you like refund it and then have them re-give it again, or depends on how they want to do that. But you can adjust it for future ones. So if you go into the giving, online giving, and in the recurring area, and then you can go into the specific amount. So we're looking at Leslie's, go to schedule, change, and then you can add it here. And again, that's for future ones. It doesn't retroactively add fees to any transactions that you have. I did see another person ask about associations, and that's over here hanging out on the right. And this one is an easy one to slip by, but sometimes people give and they might use your giving form and then they use a random email from 1995 that, but in Breeze, they have an email that's like been associated with their account. They think that they're giving and it's got their name, or even if it's a different spelling, like say you have Deborah and she gives using Debbie. Sometimes those transactions don't always connect immediately to the profile because of differing information. So you can go in here and make sure. Now, Leslie was a new profile as of today. So that's why it hasn't been associated to my people profile there. So, and we have seen some hefty numbers here before too. And that does impact, and like Leslie probably wouldn't be able to see all of her recurring gifts or, her donation history. So if you haven't checked that association area, save yourself some trouble. And then one thing that Brittany was mentioning about payment methods, I'm gonna have to like go back, look through to kind of my memory, but there was something that was adjustments and disputes are not your admin best friend. And kind of like it does show up. It just takes some time. So if you can get ahead of it as soon as your member or donor is like, I need to get this taken care of stat, it's so much better if you are able to refund it within your account, both Tithely and Breeze, because then you don't just deal with like the dispute process or the adjustment process and like getting a deposit. You're like, why doesn't this reconcile easily? That's fine. So if you can get ahead of it, totally do it.
Yeah, that's a good point to call out. I'll also just quickly, because this is a simple question. Karen's asking this, I would assume it's the case in both Breeze and Tithely, but she's asking, if I cancel a former recurring gift, will the past givings still go into the reporting? I assume that just means will they still exist within like the reporting section of your account? To answer that, it's yes. When you cancel a recurring gift, you're never going to lose history from previous gifts. So just wanted to address that because that was a quick one. Can you also address like super quickly, because I know we're coming up on time and I want to try and get as many, just kind of the difference between Breeze people and Tithely people and why they're separate things?
Yeah. So if you have an account that has Tithely and Breeze separate, the integration that we have is Tithely Giving can be sent over to Breeze, but anything that happens in Breeze is not sent back over to Tithely. So Tithely people, transaction information like an email address or a name will go over to Breeze. But if you make any edits in your Breeze people or even in your list of Tithely people, those aren't integrated and connected. So having that Tithely Giving to Breeze integration is helpful because then you can kind of ship everything from Tithely to Breeze and then edit your profiles and such in Breeze because you have your church management software in Breeze. So hopefully that makes sense. I think that might have been Jennifer. Jennifer, that would be a great question because there's some other nuances there that we could reach out, or you could reach out to us and support. We can kind of work through that together.
Yes. And I also see another question about understanding disputed donations in Tithely because it's, again, we're kind of up on time. I'm going to link an article for you that's in our help center that covers everything in regards to handling those disputed donations. So once I find it, wherever that was, because I saw it existed, I'll link that article for you. I also see someone asking about what reconcile means. That's a good question because it's kind of applicable to both Breeze and Tithely if you want to give us a summary of that as well.
Brittany, you want me to jump in? Are you ready to go for it?
Sure. Wait, sorry, I was reading the other Q&A questions, so I kind of wasn't.
Reconcile, I'll just jump in since she was right there. So reconciling, making sure that your Tithely account also reflects what you received in your bank account, and just making sure that your bank deposit shows the same as what you see in both Tithely and Breeze and your bank account. And that's why disputes and adjustments, sometimes if you give a refund 3 weeks later, that comes out of your deposits off the top of your deposit. So that's why that can look funny. And it's in your best interest, just for your sanity's sake, to try to do your refunds whenever they ask. Like, obviously you can't
it's 3 o'clock.
Sorry.
I love that it just like announces to you what time it is. I love that.
People that might have been on tickets or calls with me before have heard this. And it's just time management, man.
It is. Well, I think we addressed a good amount of questions. I know that there was still a lot that we didn't get to, which is honestly kind of encouraging to me that you guys have a lot of questions or are invested in like learning how to best help your donors. What I'm going to do really quickly is, let me get to this last screen just so that you can see all the resources that you guys have available to you. But I'm also going to throw up on the screen a link to an article that was recently created, and it's called the Donor Help Hub, is kind of what we wanted to give it the name of. So it's linked on the right side of your screen right now. If you have any suggestions of things that you would like to be added to that article, I'm the one who made it. So if you want to throw in the chat like things that you think the donor should have access to, please feel free to share it with our team. We're happy to make those adjustments. The goal with that article that was created was to give a donor like everything they need to know about how to give to your church and who they need to reach out to when they're having an issue, whether that's the church, you guys, or whether they need to reach out to us at support. For the admins, I also want to make just a quick call out. Again, I know we didn't address every single question, but a lot of the questions that you guys are answering, our support widget, like our little AI bot, is actually pretty sufficient at answering those questions. And just so I can give you a face to the name, I know the bot is not always perfect, but like our education team is the one that's trying to train that to respond to you guys. And so know that there is a human behind that AI bot that is constantly, we're trying to teach it how to respond to you guys better and make it as robust as possible. So like, don't be afraid of it. I know that it can be a little like sometimes you just want to talk to a human, and we absolutely get that. But don't be afraid to ask the bot and just see if it can give you a solid answer, because again, there's humans behind it that are training it to answer you as best as it can. Okay. So I just wanted to make that call out, because
so far,
know that like there's humans behind every aspect of what we're doing. And I know sometimes it might feel like it's hard to reach us, but know that we're doing our best to like serve you guys and serve you quickly so that you can focus on your organization and in your church. With that, I know we're a little bit over time, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. But just want to shout out Tori and Brittany again. Thank you guys so much for participating and giving us all of this really helpful information. Like I said, if you have questions, reach out to us via that support widget. That's going to be the fastest way to reach our team. And then again, to reiterate, because I see that question, Kim, this is all recorded. And so if you've registered, all of this will be sent to you guys via email, and it'll also be posted to our YouTube and our Tithely University. So good Lord, I'm sorry for talking so much, guys. I'll let you go. We appreciate you spending this hour with us. But hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week, and we look forward to seeing you wherever else we find you in Tithely. Yeah. All right. Bye, guys.